Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Harry McCulla. We're talking little amendments that are coming up this weekend on the election, as well as hurricane relief with the mayor of Thibodaux, Mr. Tommy Eschete. And Tommy, thanks for being with us, man. We appreciate your time. Calming down a little bit from the storm. It's only been 2 months now, right? It seems like time has stopped on us a little bit. But tell me about the recovery first. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of almost seems like yesterday. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been that long. But, you know, we were fortunate here in the corporate limits of the city. Didn't take as much the brunt of the storm as some areas, and certainly in Lower Lafourche and in Terrebonne and some of our neighbors up north in St. Charles and St. John Baptist Parish. But, you know, we're further along in our recovery process due to the fact that we didn't have as much widespread damage. So we're getting very close to discontinuing our contract or with our storm debris collection companies. Our contract is Series. Of course, our monitors are with O'Brien, and we're getting to wind that down. So soon our citizens won't see those large tandem trucks running around town and we're picking up storm debris. So that's sort of a signal of the fact that our recovery, you know, from a municipal standpoint, from a city standpoint, is nearing its end. Of course, our residents still have a lot of recovery work to do from a standpoint of their personal property. You know, I always say, you know, we were blessed in that, you know, we were a little bit shielded from the storm because of the little jog it took to the east right at the end. But again, most people fared well, some not so much. But you know, again, trying to help them get back on their feet again, assist them as much as we can, and hopefully guide them in areas where they can get assistance, whether it's through FEMA or SBA or any other organizations that are helping through the recovery process.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the next part of it for sure. But yeah, it did seem like it was coming right up the parish line actually between Lafourche and Terrebonne, and then it took a little jog. So that was good, and it, yeah, you love having those guys pick up stuff and all, but it's good to let them go too and get back to a little bit of normal.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It is. Yeah,
we appreciate it, but y'all got to go. Hey,
and they worked hard. Yeah, they yeah. Look, it's amazing how much everybody pitched in together. You know. You know, sometimes, you know, storms bring out the worst in some situations, but it always in the Bayou region always seems to bring out the best in people also.
Yeah.
You know, and working together to make sure our neighbors and our friends are made whole again, and that we can get them through the hardest part of the recovery process. I know in visiting some of my friends and Mayor Cormandale down in Grand Isle and Mayor Bouzago in Golden Meadow and seeing how hard their communities were hit makes us feel even more fortunate here in Thibodaux that we were able to go through that event without, you know, the types of damage that they sustained down there.
Right. Yeah, it put a little bow right on the end of COVID there after a couple of years of people. And from we were talking, it seems like the COVID numbers are way down too, right?
Yeah, you know, and again, you know, in keeping close ties with our administrators at our hospital here in Thibodaux, and you know, we hear it through the whole region that the numbers are down. You know, although we'd still like to see more people engaged in the vaccination process. You know, those numbers are down. People are now starting to even get their third you know, vaccine, their boosters, and for those who have not, I mean, for whatever reason they didn't, it seems as though we're moving out of this last surge, and hopefully we won't have another one. We won't have to experience another one. Kind of keeping our fingers crossed on that. Yeah,
absolutely with you on there. So we're going to go through the 4 amendments for the City of Thibodaux charter on a proposition that'll be on the ballot. We'll probably take a couple of segments here. So let's start with amendment proposition number 1, and we have a graphic of that, and Section 4 of the Home Rule Charter. And can you walk us through this, Tommy?
Yeah, you know, this is really a for lack of a better term, it's sort of a logistics kind of issue. The city charter prescribed that our municipal elections, which occur every 4 years, in conjunction with the state elections, and I guess in previous years, those elections, the primary election was held in October, and the runoffs were held in November. The charter prescribes that the new administration or re-elected administration would take office in December. Well, now that the state has moved those dates and those elections to November with a December runoff, it kind of puts the city in a bind in the event that we have the mayor's election or a council election that would go into a runoff. It wouldn't give us enough time to complete the election process before they would have to be seated, which would be the second Monday in December. So all we're doing is a little cleanup in the charter, stipulating that the new administration or re-elected administration would take office in January, second Monday in January, instead of that second Monday in December.
I got
so
you.
it's doing a little housekeeping in the charter. And again, it's not a major issue. It's just something we had to do so we could work in conjunction with the state election.
Sure. We'll do Proposition 2, 3, and 4 in our next break. But about 10 seconds here. What do you expect the turnout to be for this election?
It's hard to say. I mean, I'll be gone. I'll be retiring after this term, and so there's always a lot of interest in an election when there's not an incumbent. So I think you'll see some interest in this election, and hopefully we'll get a good turnout. I think, historically we've been somewhere when we have a mayor's election somewhere in the 50% turnout area, so hopefully we'll do that. I'd like to see much better than that if we could, but we want to encourage people to go out and vote.
Absolutely. All right.
That's always a key.
Amendment number 2, we'll show it, and you can take us through that as well with the home rule charter.
Yeah, this particular section deals with our civil service system, and our civil service system is operated by a director and a board, which is certainly independent of the mayor's office and the council. Those board members by charter are nominated by different agencies in the community. I can rattle them off. I think it's Nichols State, the Lafourche Parish Bar Association. The actual Nichols State University is another one. And then we also had 2 nominating authorities from Southern University and Tulane University. And over the past probably 10 years or so, we really haven't had a whole lot of interest from those 2 institutions with reference to nominating, board members, because they're just not local. So the discussion came up about how about changing those nominating authorities to people more local or organizations more local. So what we're going to do is Bal is proposing to remove the Tulane and Southern nominations and replace those with nominations from Fletcher, and the other nomination would come from the Thibodaux Chamber of Commerce, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So in other words, we're just kind of trying to get some more localizing. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not the chamber. It's the school board. I'm sorry. It's the Lafourche Parish School Board. I'm in error there. So the superintendent from the Lafourche Parish School Board and the chancellor from Fletcher will be making nominations as opposed to getting nominations from the presidents of Tulane University and Southern University.
I got you.
And that's really all that is. And we think we can, again, we have more interest in proposing nominations because they're really local as opposed to being in Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
All right. Okay. So that's for the Civil Service Board. A couple of millages are on the ballot. One for the Thibodaux Fire Department, which will be number 3, and one for roads and streets and alleyways, which will be number 4. So let's take a look at number 3, and I'm sure this is an important millage, 1.83 mils.
And again, this is one of two millage propositions that provide revenue sources for our Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department. Of course, Thibodaux, unlike many municipalities, we do not have a paid fire department. This is our fire department. And to say that we are fortunate to have a department, a volunteer department such as ours, to provide the services they do, in a city our size, to say we have over 150 very active firemen who respond to all of our calls, in addition to having 8 different companies and what we call state-of-the-art equipment. It's important that we make sure that our constituents understand the importance of having these millages approved. And this is a 10-year approval, issue. So this is coming up for renewal. It's not a new tax. It's just a renewal of an existing tax. And certainly we would ask that our citizens support this in the affirmative when they go to the polls, so we can continue to receive that excellent service we get from Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department, and to provide them with the equipment they need for fire protection in our community. So it's critical, and it's, like I said, it's one of two. This is the one that is coming due this year, and we would encourage everybody to vote for that.
Yeah, one of the great traditions in all of South Louisiana, no doubt. My dad used to drive a truck for that one, a fire truck. So he was always waiting to kind of get in there so he could drive the truck. So in proposition number 4.
And they still like that.
Like that. My mom's first date with my dad, he was riding around the fire department hoping it would go off so he could drive the truck. So number 4 deals with similar type deal. It's 2.74 mills, and it's for maintenance around for streets, roads, alleys within the city.
Yeah, this is an old proposition. It's been on the city's books for a long, long time, and it's a minimal amount of revenue. It's only about $400,000, and what we basically utilize that for is street maintenance. It's not for actual reconstruction of roads or overlay of roads. It's really street and sidewalk maintenance for an annual basis. So it gives us a revenue source to supplement our budget with. Again, it's not a new tax. It's an old tax that's being renewed. It's very minimal with reference to the amount of money that it generates. But it does assist us in planning to do those daily repairs we have on city streets and highways. Again, it's not it doesn't fund capital projects, overlays and reconstruction projects. It's really just for a maintenance on the existing roads and sidewalks within the city.
Yeah, so yeah, and anybody that tries to do a budget, tries to do any kind of construction, you know the cost that is involved with that. So it's nice to be able to budget and plan those types of things.
It's really for planning more than anything else, yeah.
Right. So, Tommy, about 20 seconds left to go, but we've turned the corner a little bit with COVID, and they got maybe some good festivals coming up. You said Thibodauxville might be on the way?
Yeah, we have we have our annual Big Boys Cook-Off, which will be on November 13th, which is a Friday evening. It's a really great event downtown. Have some 40, 50 teams usually involved in that cook-off, so it's a great little event we've been having for years and years downtown. It benefits Thibodaux Main Street. And then the following day, we have our Thibodauxville Festival, which is also downtown. And this is going to be, something that's, we've been having, I don't want to say it's 26, 27 years.
Tommy Eschete, thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We'll be back
anytime, Harry. You got to take care here.
Okay, man. We'll be back with more Bayou Time after this.